Welcome back. Sit down, kick off those steel toes, and put your feet up for a minute. Look at your hands right now. The blisters are turned into thick calluses. Your skin is stained with bar oil and ground in pine pitch, and every muscle in your lower back feels like it's been put through a meat grinder. Welcome to episode 5, The Marathon. We are officially past the adrenaline-fueled sprint of week 1. The news cameras have packed up their trucks and left town. The initial panic has worn off, and now you're staring down week 2, week 3, maybe even week 4. This is where the real battle begins. Not against the storm, but against grinding cumulative exhaustion. Back in 2004, by the time we hit week 3, after Francis, we were looking down the barrel of Hurricane Jean coming right at us. Man, we were ghost walking. We weren't sleeping well because the power was still out, and the heat in Central Florida was hovering around 95 degrees with 90% humidity every single night. Guys were getting short-tempered, saws were breaking down from poor maintenance, and simple everyday cuts were turning into near-miss accidents because people's brains were just cooked. Today, we are talking about surviving the marathon. We're covering equipment maintenance in brutal environments, advanced field nutrition and hydration protocols, and how to spot the silent operational fatigue that will get your crew hurt if you don't catch it early. Let's start with the mechanical backbone of your operation, maintenance in the mud. When you're working 10 to 12 hours a day in storm debris, your equipment is taking 5 times the abuse it would during normal residential work. The air is full of fine road grit, pulverized plaster, sand, and shredded leaf mulch. If you aren't doing strict end-of-day maintenance, your fleet will degrade within 48 hours. Every single evening, before your crew touches a cold drink or sits down for dinner, you hold a mandatory 15-minute pit stop. You blow out every air filter on every powerhead, you flip the guide bars to ensure even wear, and pull the burrs off the rails with a flat file. Clean out those sprocket nose bearings and check your drive sprockets. A worn drive sprocket will throw a chain under heavy side load when you're working a tight tension cut. And remember this, sharp chains prevent crew fatigue. When a saw chain gets dull in dirty storm wood, the operator has to push down on the handles using their upper body weight to force the bar through the log. That extra physical strain burns up muscle glycogen exponentially faster, leading to lower back spasms, forearm pump, and shoulder exhaustion by noon. A razor-sharp chain pulls itself through the wood. Teach your ground crew that touching a file to the teeth every 2 tanks of gas isn't wasting time. It's saving their bodies for the rest of the week. Now let's talk about the fuel for the human machine, hydration and calorie management. In a post-disaster environment, you cannot rely on normal hunger and thirst cues. When guys are working in extreme heat and humidity, sweating profusely for 10 hours, their body loses water and critical electrolytes way faster than the brain registers thirst. By the time a climber says, "Man, I'm really thirsty," he is already 2 quarts low and operating at a 15% cognitive deficit. Here's the protocol you need to enforce on your tailgate every morning. The 1-to-1 rule. For every bottle of pure water your crew drinks, they must consume 1 pack of high-grade, zero-sugar electrolyte replacement salts, not sugary sports drinks that spike their insulin and cause a sugar crash an hour later. You need sodium, potassium, and magnesium to keep their nervous system firing and muscles from cramping up. And nutrition? Forget heavy, greasy gas station junk food. In the heat, your body diverts blood away from your muscles and brain toward your stomach to digest heavy fats, making you sluggish and sleepy. Feed your crew high-protein, clean-burning foods in small, frequent amounts throughout the day. Tuna packets, beef jerky, hard-boiled eggs, peanut butter, bananas, and complex carbs. Keep a strict eye out for heat illness. Learn the progression. Heat cramps lead to heat exhaustion, and heat exhaustion leads to heat stroke, which can kill a man in minutes. If you see a crew member stop sweating, get confused, start slurring their words, or complain of a pounding headache, that is an absolute red alert. You pull them into the shade immediately, strip off their heavy chaps and vest, pour cold water over their neck, wrists, and groin and fan them down. Do not let macho pride keep a heat-sick worker on the saw. Now, let's talk about the psychological danger of the marathon, operational fatigue. Operational fatigue isn't just being tired. It's a physiological state where the brain's prefrontal cortex begins to shut down due to prolonged stress, lack of sleep, and physical depletion. It sneaks up on you and it reveals itself through specific, dangerous behavioral shifts on the job site. As a senior leader, you need to watch your crew for these 3 classic signs of operational fatigue. First, the giddiness or unnatural high. A worker suddenly starts acting hyperactive, cracking inappropriate jokes in high-risk zones, or rushing through setups with reckless speed. That's an adrenaline mask hiding deep exhaustion. Second, the short fuse. A normally easygoing groundman snaps at a teammate over a thrown rope or a minor miscommunication. Irritability means the brain can no longer regulate emotional processing under stress. Third, the zombie stare. You give a clear command, "Hey, hand me that 70cc saw and grab the rigging block." And the worker just stands there staring at you for 3 seconds before processing what you said. Their processing speed has dropped to 0. When you spot these signs, you don't yell at them. You step in. You pull that worker off the active cut line, put them on traffic control in the shade, put a cold towel on their neck, or tell them to sit in the truck cab with the AC running for 20 minutes. And senior guys, look in the mirror. You are not immune to this. The worst mistakes made during the 2004 hurricane season weren't made by the brand new groundmen. They were made by veteran climbers who thought they were too tough to take a break. They thought they could run on 4 hours of sleep and 3 energy drinks for 3 weeks straight. They were wrong. I want to leave you with a story from week 3 of the 2004 Central Florida Gauntlet. We were working a long, brutal stretch of storm-damaged water oaks. We were all exhausted, running on fumes. Our best climber, a guy who had 20 years in the trees, an absolute powerhouse, was up in a shattered canopy trying to remove a heavily back-weighted limb. He was tired. His hands were shaking slightly, but he didn't want to admit it. He set his friction hitch, but because his brain was fatigued, he forgot to tie off the stopper knot on the tail of his climbing line. He made his cut, swung out to clear the piece, and as he weighted his rope, the tail ran straight through his hitch. He dropped 20 feet onto a pile of cut logs, broken ribs, punctured lung. He survived, but it ended his season instantly, all because a 20-year veteran was too tired to make a basic 5-second knot check that he'd done 100,000 times before. The lesson? Exhaustion makes experts act like amateurs. Respect the marathon. Maintain your gear every night. Force hydration and real food down your crew's throats. Watch for the zombie stare. And never, ever skip your safety checks because you're tired. Pace yourselves out there and take care of your minds and your bodies. If you're grinding through week 2 and this episode helped you reset your pace, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and share it with a brother or sister who might be running on fumes right now. Remind your crew that stamina is a tool, just like a sharp chain. Keep an eye out for the zombie stare, protect your crew, and I'll see you on our final episode when the job is done, the trucks roll home, and we talk about processing the mental aftermath. Stay safe out there in the canopy.